So, guys, everyone watching at home on the screen, are you ready? Should we dive back into Ysterra the Far Horizon tonight? What do you think? I'm seeing some nods, so we will begin with a recap. Deb, please take it away.
I sure will. With the notes that I took really well last week, even knowing going into this. All right, we started out last week with some shenaniganery because Bren decided to wild shape into a chipmunk and sneak into the twins' room, and then use another wild shape to turn into a bear to wake the twins up. 80 woke up without a whole lot of incident. Mira flailed about a little bit and ended up punching Bren in the face with her hand, which is injured, and instant agony. So Mira spent the day at disadvantage for her rolls. Bren, having done all of his shenanigans, headed off to see Ganthelrook. While he was there, he talked to Valthira of the Skyborn Sanctuary. They had a little bit of chat. Bren picked up the stuff that he had ordered. Mira, meanwhile, spent some time looking through the books because she wanted to know if the Pale Herald was mentioned in either of them. There's not a mention of him, but they did get sort of a skeleton of a prototype put together for her gauntlet that they're going to make. 80 is still in the doghouse with Oriana, and so Mira decides to help her win Ori's affections back, and so Mira makes the best fucking blanket fort there ever was. And so they have a little bit of a girls' night with Ori and Sisk, and it's a fabulous time, and it goes some of the way to making amends. They get to Takanoru and are met by a crowd. So we pulled out our little sandwich board with the ship info and the facts on it. The crowd's being led by an Earth Genasi man and a human named Varen. Ori is on deck, and 80 spots her doing some magic. All of her eyes are open, but she has a little smile on her face, and she says that she thinks it will be okay, and she heads down the ladder of the ship. We head into town. It's a poor provincial town, a quiet village, if you will. Maybe a good place to disappear if someone needed to. There's a religious building, maybe a temple surrounded by willows. The crowd gets a little excited, and we're swamped by questions, and suddenly a loud magical bell chimes, and the crowd parts, and a woman comes forward and stares at us and wants to know what we're doing in town. She's the kiln master. She's also Mika, the mother of Liren, who we were meant to go find and say, hey, your daughter's still alive. And that is what I have.
Pretty spot on, far as I remember. My notes don't really deviate from that at all. Anyone have anything to add? All right, Ian. I feel like we haven't heard an amazing recap from the San Antonio Drift lately, so I'm nominating your boy Big Moose for recap next time. How you feel about that?
Damn it, now I have to pay attention. Okay, here we go.
You do have to pay attention. Here we go indeed. Just change up music here. All right, so yes, as Deb so eloquently put it, we left off last week in the village of Takanoru. Most everyone is here. I believe we only left Phelan behind on the ship, if I recall correctly. I think everybody else had come along. But regardless of that, that's neither here nor there to the current situation, as this rather fierce-looking fire genasi woman who isn't, let me be clear, she's not like mean mugging you guys. Okay, she's not like she's not outwardly any notion of hatred or poor disposition towards you in general, but she's a pretty stern woman, and I think it comes across very clearly that she has a certain quality of authority, we'll call it, as she kind of parts the people of Takanoru, and you all see her. As she walks towards you, I am curious what are the things that she might be able to pick up on from each of you if she were to roll an insight check on you. We'll start with you, Ian, since I think Bren is still more or less leading the pack, so to speak.
I think he's more so intrigued. Like who's this person? Why are they so aggressive, but not aggressive? So maybe like intrigued, a little bit confused. Would probably be the most present thing on his face.
What about you, Kay?
How well did she roll?
She has a really good passive insight. We're going to put it just shy of 20 for her passive insight.
Okay. I think I'm feeling, Siska's feeling pretty cool and collected. Honestly, they know they're like, oh, we didn't have to go find her. She's right here. Perfect. Like, yeah, I'm chill.
Okay. Mira?
I think Mira is like curious about where they might go find information about the Umbreless Flame, and is like already trying to figure out like what her strategy is going to be. And, you know, when they got to Atarak, she, they just sort of were like, oh, we're from, I don't know, what did we make up? Some town. And like, that didn't go very well. And so she's just like, God, like, are we going to like, how truthful are we going to be, essentially, I think.
Okay, and Beth?
What's 80's vibe read?
From Mako?
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me an insight check, please.
Gladly. Do I get to use my advantage?
You do.
With this? Hot
she
diggity.
cannot shield her thoughts from you, so to speak.
17.
17's not bad, but even with that, her thoughts are generally pretty controlled. You're not picking up on much emotionally from her. I would actually argue, in a way, she almost feels a little dead inside. From
Interesting.
The way that 80 is able to read emotions, it feels like that for her more than anything else.
Well, that's fun. I think 80's curious about that. I think she is feeling once again in this new place like she wants to absorb as much as she can of the people. And when arriving in Atarak, the like kindness and friendliness of the people was a little bit interesting and overwhelming. It was genuine, but also, kind of rote as well.
That is actually a good point that you bring up as well, because I think 80 would have a perspective on a certain aspect of the differences between the people of Atarak and the people of Takanoru, there's a certain, and I'm not saying that the people of Atrak were trying to deceive, but there's a certain authenticity that comes from the people here in the way that they're expressing themselves, the way that their thoughts are forming, the way that their emotional expressions very accurately represent their demeanors. There's a certain quality of that to this space.
That would feel a bit refreshing, and then also I think it would allow her to settle in a little bit quicker because she's not trying to unravel, the big mystery of what people are showing versus how they're feeling. So I think that she can move past that a little bit and into sort of what it is that they're here for. So I think she is feeling curious about what their next steps are. She's felt a little bit like she's just along for the ride for a lot of this so far. And she is wondering how she can specifically make this trip successful. And so for now, paying attention to these new people, trying to gather what she can that others might not be able to pick up on. She's just sort of logging all of that information.
Yeah, totally. So as you guys, are walking through, and you can see very clearly that there is a great deal of deference paid to this woman by the rest of the people of Takanoru. And she is like stepping forward. Again, she is presenting that seriousness, but it seems from your perspectives anyway to be not an attempt at dominance or anything like that. She's just a very authoritative woman and wants to know these strangers that have come into their midst. And so as she kind of steps forward, one of the young men that was escorting you steps up to her as well, and there's a brief conversation that takes place between the two of them that is mostly hushed, but you can at the very least be able to get the gist of the conversation. And there's a sense of awe and wonder that comes from your guide, and a kind of acceptance from the woman that you will eventually know to be Meika. But she eventually just kind of cuts him off. Just a simple gesture, not rude or anything, just a simple gesture. And she turns and looks towards all of you and says, "What have you come to our quiet little village for?"
We bring some important news from what we learned in Atrak. I think you might want to have a private conversation with us.
Give me a persuasion check, please.
Absolutely. I'm pretty good at persuasion, but I will use one of my advantages regardless.
Okay, good to know.
I know myself.
I love how you use so many of yours preemptively as well, Kay. I think that's great.
I just know. But I got a 25 altogether,
Nice.
So we're doing good.
Yeah, so she definitely takes the request kind of as you intended it, right? Like, as not necessarily a warning or anything like that, but rather as just something that it should probably be genuinely concerning for privacy.
Courtesy.
Yeah, courtesy. And she just kind of nods and she says, "All right, so you came all of this way to deliver a message, and it took this many people to do so."
Pretty much, yes. We hope that you will be able to share some information with us about the situation.
There is a situation then that you bring with you.
One that you may already have found yourself in, and maybe will bring resolution to.
This cryptic talk is not for me.
Liran sent us.
As soon as you say the name, she stares at you with the most withering, cold, hard expression that you've ever seen. I would like for you to make a charisma saving throw, please.
Sure. I'm also good at this, but I'll use another advantage. I have so many for now. Another 25.
Nice. You hold firm through it as she basically stares at you with such intensity that would make most people wilt. You stand firm through it. And she says, "How do you know that name?"
I told you we should probably do this privately.
I must know how you know that name. And you can tell, actually, and I'm going to give this to you, 80, because of the overwhelming sense of emotion that happens at this scene. First of all, you can hear a pin drop. Everyone, the 100+ people that are in proximity to this, are dead silent. And 80, as soon as there is a mention of Janelle, there's kind of a hushed gasp that comes across everyone, but everyone's emotions in response to that immediately go to 100. Like, everyone gets turned up on the spot, like flipping a frickin' switch. As you are staring, go ahead, you can say something.
Oh, no, I will keep, unless she responds within a good 3-4 seconds, then I'll
as you are kind of staring at her, she says, "If you are bringing me news, as you say, from my daughter, not of my daughter, you mean to say that she is alive?"
She is alive, and I would say mostly cured.
You're not even sure she heard you say, and mostly cured. Because in that moment of you saying she's alive, her eyes lose focus. She clutches at her chest. She collapses. The young man catches her, basically, and prevents her from falling completely to the ground as she tries to gather herself in the impact of what you just said. And then the crowd just goes nuts. Instantaneously, there's dozens of people pelting questions at all of you. What do you mean she's alive? How can she possibly be? She was dead. The investigators told us she had perished. There's tons of questions that are, and it's not even like you can answer all of these questions, even if you wanted to. The crowd starts closing in on you a bit. How do you react?
I'd want to have some magical, powerful burst to burst them all away, but I'm not super, with a cool super backstory.
Do you need that? Because
I'd be down. Maybe I look at 80 and I'm like,
I don't even think you have to look. I think 80 just hears it from your emotional peak.
Basically, I'm like mad. I'm going to cast silence around us in...
Well, that stops 80 from doing anything.
Did she seem like she was gonna? I don't know.
I'll also... Don't you have, the big illusion thing, too?
I have the scroll thing still, I guess.
It was a scroll. I thought you had an ability that gave you the large scale illusion thing as well.
I don't think.
So you cast silence that instantaneously silences everything, and it takes a half second or maybe even a couple of seconds for everybody to realize. And
I look pissed, by the way.
What's that?
Sisk looks I look super mad. Like I'm like livid.
Sure.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, you can't hear the area of silence is not large enough to encompass all of the people that are around you, right? And so you can only imagine that beyond the edges, there's still a great cacophony. But as the people that are inside of the area of silence, stop being able to hear the commotion as well, they kind of stop. There's a little bit of, talking to themselves and nothing coming out and all of that. So you basically just cause a significant amount of confusion to everything. Yeah. And as you do that, the Dragonborn just kind of steps forward and just hoists their arms up into the air to get everyone's attention. And you can see from the physical responses, even though you can't hear it per se, that they're starting to settle down.
I'll drop it basically when I see that there's some chilling out going on, just to get everyone to shut the hell up and get the hell away from me.
As soon as you drop it and everyone can hear again, the commotion starts to rise up, and then the Dragonborn bellows a gout of lightning just in the area above everyone, flashy thing in the air from their gut, and it kind of feels like they've done that before to get people's attention. Because folks settle down. And so then the Dragonborn just kind of turns to look at you.
Okay.
And says,
go ahead.
And says, she's alive.
Yeah.
The Dragonborn that had been part of the crowd just kind of turns and looks back at Mika, who's collecting herself back, and you can tell that she's becoming coherent again from the emotional significance of what happened. The three of them, this Dragonborn that has stepped forward, the young man, and Mika, all kind of gather up in front of you, Sisk. And Mika, in very, very strained voice, says, I must know everything. Please come.
Perfect. Thank you.
And she, a little shaky on her feet, turns and walks away. And as she's turning and walking away, she just pats the arm of the Dragonborn that is next to you, or was next to her. She says, "Thank you, my friend." And he just kind of nods. And then he just kind of moves back into the crowd. As she's walking away, I'm assuming the lot of you follow. My question for you is, because you have a gaggle of NPCs that are with you, of your crew, would you ask them to stay behind, or would you want them to come along?
I'd ask them to stay behind.
You turn to Dove, I assume, or maybe Nora. Oriana is certainly not the authoritative type.
No, I think I would turn to the both of them, to Dove and Nora, but I'm very much so talking to Nora. I think it would be best if you all stayed here, if you could kind of just watch over everyone while we're away.
He nods. Oriana actually steps closer to you and places a hand on your elbow and kind of pulls you in to her.
Mm-hmm.
And in just kind of a hushed whisper, you hear Oriana say, "Be careful. She has been misled. Someone has lied to her in the gravest of ways."
Okay. We'll be careful.
He just nods at you, kind of steps back, and as you're starting to walk away, just out of curiosity, Beth and Deb, is there anything that either of you want to contribute in this moment, or are you just following?
Yep. Our dog's being a menace.
Yeah, I was yelling at a dog and putting him away, so
Okay.
I'm back now.
Okay.
Following is good.
So you leave your allies behind. They immediately start getting peppered with a ton of questions, but it's not perhaps as volatile as it was from the initial spark, the initial match that you all threw on the tinder, so to speak. And just in looking back, you think Nora and Dove probably have it handled, and Oriana is definitely kind of shying away from things a little bit, but you're following Reika. And so Reika leads you a little bit more through the town, and as you are kind of seeing things a little bit more closely, I think it becomes very apparent to you, as also you're spotting more people kind of in the town seeing you, and you're walking with the Kilnmaster, and you can only shudder to think what kind of, scuttlebutt conversations are going to be taking place at dinner tables tonight. But as you kind of move through this space, I will say that, Ian, your eyes are drawn to what is very obviously a holy site. There's a temple. It's modest, but has quite a number of rather wide, elegant stones. It sits upon a pool of water. It's very serene, and you can see a lot of the sky's reflection in the water surrounding it. And there's something that keenly draws you to that space. And if it wasn't for the fact that you were in the middle of something, you probably would feel a much more significant drive, or I should say, an inability to slow your drive to venture into that temple space. It's just up on the hill, kind of towards the edges of the town. You can see it almost as if you were standing right next to it. More than that, you can feel it. There's something about it, and you don't know what that something is yet.
I think while we're walking, I would ask Mika what that is. What is that for? It's like a temple, or?
She turns her head in your direction, and she starts kind of mumbling out an answer. You can tell that very clearly that she is lost in all kinds of thoughts at this point. And the young human kind of turns towards you instead. Varen, that's his name. Forgot it. Varen kind of turns towards you instead, and he says, "Oh, yeah, that's the shrine of shared silver for Lunyesh. We have religion here," as he kind of chuckles to himself.
Oh, okay. I was curious. That was all.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me an insight check, Ian, since you're interacting with the young Baron.
Okay. 18.
It's pretty good. You can see that there's a certain amount of almost like held back excitement from him at the moment. He's trying to be as reserved and composed as he can, but he's barely succeeding in doing so.
Okay. Been a while since the village got guests.
Since what now?
Since the village had guests.
Oh yeah, we have travelers every now and then, but not often. No.
Okay.
Usually it's, once every month or two, merchants come through.
I guess none who've flown in on a boat.
No, that's new. That's very, very new. How does that even work?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that, whole lot of magic.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the magic part, yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
You can tell, actually, since you're having a more pointed conversation with him that is on a topic, that, some of that kind of struggle with composure that he had kind of diminishes a little bit. And so you're probably picking up on some of what's bothering him probably is related to the news that you all offered in some way.
Did you know Laren personally?
Need to ask how quiet you're being as you ask that question. Would Bren have the forethought to maybe try to say that in such a way that Mako would not hear, like perhaps falling back a little bit with Varen to the back of the group, so to speak?
Yeah, I would say because pointing out the building, Brett may have stopped and it's like, what's that about? So, everyone kept walking. There's still a little bit of distance in between the two, or the group and then the two of them. So, and then it's just not a hushed tone, but it's very low, normal conversation. I'm not going to scream your ear off.
Yeah. And sorry, remind me of the exact wording of the question again, please.
So did you know Laren's their name, right? I feel like I missed.
Laren.
Laren.
I mostly was pronouncing it Lorraine, but yeah.
Okay. Did you know Lorraine personally?
There's no role necessary for you to read between the lines as he says, oh yes, I knew her very, very well.
How long were you together before she was taken?
Oh, no, not like...
Oh, I misread this completely. I'm sorry.
She was born just a month before me. We
best friends.
I thought of her as the sister I never had.
I understand.
And you can see that he is desperately wanting to say something, to ask you a question, but is biting his tongue. Maybe even actually physically, biting his tongue.
Listen, I know we're going to go and speak about it, but if there's something you want to say or ask, you can do so.
You said that she's alive. Is she okay?
No. She went through a lot of pain. There's no really any real easy way to kind of say that or to tell you. So no, she's not okay. Can she walk? Can she talk? Yes, she can, but things happen to her that she probably won't be able to shake for quite some time. But she's trying, which is the important part. She's trying to. And from what we've heard and from what we've seen, compared to what the others who have helped her have seen, she's making great strides. But it's going to take some time.
Okay. When will she? No, that don't. Never mind. Okay. Thank you. He turns away from you and starts heading back up to the front of the group.
We could talk about this, Varen. It's fine.
No, he just kind of. No, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Ooh, farming town. Been a minute.
So eventually, you do reach.
Town.
You do, yeah. You do reach your destination, at least what you think is your destination, as Mika finishes taking or walks you inside of this very large. Grand is not the right word, but it's probably one of the larger buildings in all of Takanoru. It's an artisan's hall. There's a few different places for doing different artisan work, namely ceramics and pottery. There's a kiln, very obviously. There's an entire section on the outside that is all for molding and creating the raw material for clay. And the whole place looks to be where a significant amount of... What's the best way to say this? This is almost like the lifeblood of craft in probably the entirety of Takanoru. The entire space seems to hold a certain amount of community aspect to it. No one person works in this space. Probably 30 people work in this space, maybe even more. And so as you are kind of led through it, and you get to see all of the various forging stations and crafting stations and the kiln and the glazing table and the racks upon racks of very beautifully made pottery, there's a certain aspect to it that I think in particular for 80 in a way feels just amazing to walk through. And in particular 80, with your very high passive perception that you have, you're able to spot on the glazing table, there's a series of different sized pieces of pottery. And what catches your eye at first is several of them are broken. One of them is completely shattered in like dozens of pieces. And there's a few others that are put together. They've been mended, so to speak. But they haven't been mended in the way that magic might mend something. You know, when magic mends things, it's as close to being back into its original state as it could possibly be, right? Some experts and such might be able to see subtle differences in a magical mending, but it's pretty hard, and for most people it's impossible to tell. But these pottery pieces that you see that have been broken, when you compare them to the pieces that have been mended, that have been put back together, you see tiny ribbons of silver and gold filled in the cracks of wherever they were broken. And as I said, most of these pieces are in different states of repair, but towards the end side of the table where you see the pieces that are fully back together, there's a certain beauty to those pieces that have been mended by hair.
It's lovely to see.
Yeah, how's 80 feeling as you guys are walking through this space, ostensibly going to, Reika's chambers? Or Maka's chambers?
It speaks to a lot of who she was back at home, as a person who worked with different artisans in the many jobs that she had, as somebody who frequented the art markets and art district in Orlestrin, seeing handmade items always just touches a place in her heart and sort of sparks her own curiosity and creativity. So walking through this place and seeing how people from an entirely different place, a different culture, treat their objects, whether they're new or being repaired, it feels really cool, because there's a lot that's very different, and then there's a lot that's the same and feels maybe universal even. And it's a very beautiful thing. But taking these things that are broken and making them whole again, and even more beautiful in some ways, is a really lovely thing that I think she'll carry with her.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that 80 herself has probably seen plenty of artisan repair work before, because that's not uncommon, right?
Yeah.
But doing it in this way, where your eyes are drawn to the obviously previously broken sections of it, with the gold and the silver kind of inlaid into the pieces, is certainly unique and not something that 80 has ever seen before. So. But as you are led through this communal artisan hall, you pass through the, pottery and all of that, you pass through the kiln, till eventually you find a small living space. And I say living space loosely because it is very obviously an office, right? There's shelves, there's papers, there's drawings, there's a small workbench. But there's a certain section of this space that kind of haphazardly has also been set up for sleeping and cooking and the like, as kind of living area. And it's not very large in the grand scheme of things. It's only about 20 feet by maybe 30 feet. It's slightly more long on one side than the other. And so as you kind of enter into this space, you can see that Maka immediately goes over to where her workbench is, and she takes a seat upon the stool. And unfortunately, there's another chair in the space, and maybe another stool kind of leaning against the wall there. And so, yeah, there's not really much for sitting room, so to speak. Oh my goodness, kitten. Sorry, distraction. So as you are led into this space and you see her kind of take her seat, and she has changed demeanor tremendously. She is still very tense, but now you can see that it's a very emotional tension, and a lot of the sternness or maybe intensity that she had before is kind of washed away a bit. And you can tell very clearly that she's desperately trying to keep herself from getting too emotional. And she turns and looks at all of you as you have, come into the space. And for what it's worth, Varen also is kind of in here with you. He's kind of just moved off to the side, and he's, trying to be as quiet and unobtrusive as possible. And she looks at all of you and she says, "Okay, tell me everything, please."
I'm going to position myself moodily by a window or like a mirror or something, looking away.
Looking away?
Yeah, just a little bit. Where do we start?
Maybe start by telling me how you know my daughter.
We fought her. Essentially.
What do you mean you fought her?
That's my contribution to the conversation. I will be keeping quiet now.
No, you will tell me.
I feel as though I've made a grave mistake. But here we are. Okay, what was the last thing you remember when you saw your daughter?
The last time that I saw my daughter, she was headed into the fields to collect some minerals for my work. We got into an argument over the work that needed to be done. She never came home. All we found were her bloody clothes.
Okay. Just matching up what she told us and what you remember. Sisk at any time.
Yeah. So there was. We don't have everything. We didn't want to push your daughter. She's alive and on the mend, but she's not doing super well. We can get into that in a little bit, but she had been taken, had a magic compulsion over her. Someone had invaded her mind and taken it over.
She's looking at you just like completely aghast, like, how can any of this possibly be true sort of expression.
And we lost one of our friends and we went to go retrieve her, and your daughter was there under this control, and we fought her, we knocked her out, we took her back with us to Atarak. We went to the temple.
She's in Atarak?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We took her to the temple. They were able to help her, like, revive her. They're taking care of her right now.
What do you mean revive? Did she die?
Literal. No, not literal revive. Turn of phrase.
So the spark notes to this, friend. Your daughter was kidnapped by a very terrible cult. They brainwashed her through torture to do things for the cult. And because she was strong enough, she survived it. We met up with her and the rest of her cult friends looking for our friend who was also kidnapped from the cult. Now, unfortunately, we were not aware, or at least I wasn't aware at the time, that all of them were being brainwashed, but my friend Sisk here had the discernment to see that they were not in their own control. So we took your daughter to Atarak, to a temple, so that they can help clear her mind. Now, unfortunately, it's clear enough to where she can speak and she can recall, but that's the problem. Her recollection is so painful, it's causing her mental anguish.
Hey, this is a lot. This is a lot to process.
I understand.
I know. Sisk so bad wants to give it I told you so, but it's just like no, keeping it tamped down. Oh my gosh.
The who?
It's the lady.
Oh.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea that we had this conversation in private.
What temple did you say she is at? I must go to her.
Oh shit, what's the guy's name? Sith.
Come on. Who's got it in their notes? Somebody's got it.
I have it in my notes. Can I find it quicker on my Sparks notes for it?
The name Zathuda just pops in my head, and I know that's incorrect.
Not even close.
Right.
Isn't the said one?
It's the Temple of Itherion, but
Vitherion.
Does it have a special name?
Yes.
The Temple of the
Raven,
Tempered Soul.
help.
There you go. Deb got it.
Okay, we got it, Raven.
The Temple of the Tempered Soul, of the Ascendant Vitherion.
Natrak. Okay. I can make that journey.
Can you take her there?
She turns and looks to Varen and says, assemble the rest of the council. Inform them that I am leaving as soon as possible for Atarak. And I don't know when I will return, but when I return, it will be with Lorraine. And Varen, throughout all of this, has kind of been like white knuckling his fists in his hand, and he just kind of nods to her without saying a word and moves to the door and exits. As she turns and, well, actually I should ask, Kay, were you asking that above table or in character when you asked if we could take her?
I think I was doing it in a literal theater whisper, like, can we take her to the group? Like, wasn't too bad getting here. Oh.
No, why? No.
And she turns and looks back to all of you, and she says, I cannot express enough what this means to me, to know that my daughter is alive. And the fact that you came from so far to give me this news. I do not understand why you have done this. Why a kiln master in the middle of, frankly, nowhere would warrant this important message.
There was, I think, a hope that you might know a little bit more about the circumstances that Lorraine ended up in. But from the sounds of it, nothing. I don't want to cause you any more stress. There's like, I can name some of the people that she mentioned that she may have been involved in, maybe not directly, but underneath. But should I speak with the council about that? Or is there someone you trust in town that is very knowledgeable?
Yes, of course. You can speak to the council if about anything. Honestly, we hold no secrets here in our little town. Takanoru is a place where It's long been said Takanoru is a place where secrets go to die. Everyone knows everyone, everyone says everything. There are no secrets in this place. I would not keep anything secret, and I can tell you in all seriousness, I know nothing about what caused my daughter's disappearance. I know nothing of this cult that you speak of. We were told that no magic could discern what happened. She was very likely consumed by some wild beast or other.
Who told you? Who informed you? Who found the evidence of your daughter's passing?
We went searching, and one of the people of our town found her tools and the bloody rags of her clothing. And
someone faked something.
An investigator was called in, or the emperor even. They worked under This was all known. They gave me a letter even, and she goes over to her desk and she starts rummaging through till she eventually finds a piece of parchment, and she hurries and rushes it over to you, Sisk, and hands it to you. It's in the Discord if you want to read it, but she also says to you, the investigator told us that nothing more could be done, that there was no more action to be taken by anyone officially or unofficially, and they told us that she died. I had accepted my daughter's death. And she just slumps into the chair, her desk, and just starts weeping. You can see in her eyes a mixture of the inner fire of her nature in the tears as they fall down her cheeks. And she sobs heavily in front of you. 80, you've felt this before. You felt the intensity of this before from others, but also you yourself have felt it. And because of how powerful this emotion is, I'm going to say you need to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
I knew you were going to say that. Wisdom save?
Wisdom save.
I'm going to use an advantage.
Are you sure?
Viewers.
Are you sure?
No, I'm not, Miko, when you say it like that.
Just saying, sometimes you have to lean into your failed rolls. Right, Ian?
Fine, I'll lean into it.
It's more fun, honestly.
Yeah, all right.
I think the intensity and raw purity of these emotions overwhelms. And I think 80 starts crying as well.
Well, that's a given. She was already tearing up back there anyways.
Not full on sobbing like Mika is,
I know.
There's definitely some tears out. Sisk, do you do anything or say anything as you're reading this letter?
Girl, all the cylinders are firing. I am trying to see the authenticity of this note. I am like cross-referencing things in my brain that I remembered from the last time I was here a while back. Like I think I'm trying to not focus on the woman bawling her eyes out currently.
This name on the letter, we have no idea who this person is. We haven't heard it yet, have we?
No.
No. Well, when the investigator came, was it just them? Did they have a troop of people? Were they the lead? Was there someone else that may have been more
As
in
you are
authority
just
of
like
them with
slamming
them?
her with these questions, you can see that she can't answer you right now. She just kind of weakly holds up a hand towards you.
I am so sorry, Killmaster. I was hoping this would be better news. We'll try to come back to visit you maybe on the morrow.
As you say that, she starts trying to compose herself. And 80, you can feel in her emotions that she just needs a second. I think 80 would even maybe interject on her behalf here because she knows that, but I'll leave that to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a moment.
You say that to your friends, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't heard from you in a while. What's Mira doing in all of this?
I think Mira is just sort of taking it all in, and she is not so good with the emotional side of things like 80 is, and so I think she's just sort of taking a backseat to 80 and Sisk and watching them interact and see. I think she feels a little she's awkwardly standing there. I think she feels a little like, I don't know what to do with myself right now because like there's not a plan or a mission or a thing that I can go do.
I have a question for you. Based on things that you and I had discussed in regards to Mira and losing her mother and kind of embodying some of her mother's traits and such. Do you think that has an effect? Given that this is a mother who thought her daughter was dead?
I think so. I think she's trying to push it down as much as she can because I think she doesn't want to, like, there's so much going on. There's so much like information that they need that like she just feels like she doesn't have time to feel those emotions. And so she's just like, I'll deal with that later. Like, that's not something it's not a box I want to open right now.
Sure.
There's only so much you can sweep under the rug before you trip over it, you know?
Yep.
It'll happen eventually. So after a few moments then of giving Meika the space that she needs, she kind of collects herself and very bleary-eyed, and her, you can tell that her eyes aren't entirely focusing all that well just yet, but she does look up at Bren. And very wearily, as if she just let out a year's worth of emotions in a fraction of a moment, she looks at Bren. She says, What did you ask of me?
Was there anyone else other than this investigator? Somebody that maybe looked more of authority over them?
The Office of
Something like
Imperial
a
Inquiry
vizier.
has tremendous amounts of authority. The investigator was alone, but did not need anyone else. The only reason that the investigator even came to a sleepy little place such as this is because there was concern on the council that the town might be in danger. They investigated They talked to everyone. There was no member of Takanoru that went uninterrogated.
Has anyone else kind of gone missing or died in a way that they were never found in the last one? I don't remember when Lorraine was kidnapped. Miko.
She said a year. It was a year.
It was a
So
year. Okay.
it was basically 14 months ago.
Okay, so I'd say like within the last, I'd say even maybe like I'll give it like a year beforehand, or within that.
No,
No, okay. Are there?
Lorraine was the only one. I mean,
Are there-
we've had people pass on, and we've had a few accidents. This is a farming community, after all. Accidents can happen, but
Are
no.
there many other fire genasi in this community? I don't know if that's polite to ask, but
It's okay. There's a good number of us, yes. Why does that matter? Was Lorraine targeted because of her heritage?
Possibly. It kind of goes back to what I had said before about her being strong. Could you tell us a little bit about her, potentially?
Lorraine? Lorraine was like, it was like trying to control fire. She was so willful. She could take the smallest things and erupt like a festival bonfire sometimes. She had such passion for everything. Except work sometimes. She definitely did not want to follow in her mother's footsteps and become kilnmaster. She made that very well known. But that's okay, that's never been a requirement living here. I am certainly the first kilnmaster of my family. She loved to swim because she always felt that it cooled her down. She knew she had the temper. And she tried very well to ensure that that temper did not hurt those that she loved. But it could get the better of her sometimes. She very much wanted to leave Takanoru, and she tried talking young Varen into the two of them running away together. It was kind of adorable in a way, because Varen immediately came and told me.
Okay. Thank you.
There was a part
That's-
of me that assumed she died. That she had simply run away and tried to make it look like it did, so that it would keep me from looking over her. And she just starts crying again as she sobs out, "I should have looked for her. and like you lose her again for a solid minute.
Terrible, such a terrible joke. Okay, I'm glad I didn't say it. Okay. Maybe,
Let me interrupt here and ask Beth, is 80 doing anything as she's feeling all of this from her and then invariably breaks down again?
It's tricky because one of the things that she has learned is that intervening to like spare people's emotions doesn't always go well. And given that this is like a mother and child situation, I think kind of like Mira thinking about mom and how that might relate to this situation. I think 80 takes a step back from it because it's hard, I think, to just to grapple with what it means to, have a something stressful going on between a parent and child, and feeling the emotions of that and trying not to, but also trying to remain open to, get information.
As 80 takes a step back, she bumps into Mira.
You okay?
No. But she'll reach down and grab onto your hand.
Please tell me the bad one.
Yeah, she squeezes it so hard that it turns to dust, and we don't have to worry about it anymore.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I think she would just stand there and hold Mira's hand for a minute, and I think at first it feels grounding, because it always has with Mira, but I think also something just like prickles in the corner of her heart, because she knows that things feel like they're changing between her and her sister, and she's not sure if it's all change for the better or if this distance is, leaving miles between them, and she doesn't want to think about that either, so she just tries to focus in on what's happening in front of her.
I think Mira can feel the turbulence of emotion in 80, and so she'll just stand there and squeeze her hand and try and send strength through the bond.
It makes her feel better and also worse, so.
After a moment, she does compose herself. Kind of takes in extremely deep breath. She wipes the tears away. She exhales, and you can actually see a small amount of steam come out of her mouth as she exhales. And she looks back to all of you, and she says, I don't know what to even think now about all of this. I know you say that she is troubled and having difficulty in this healing, and all of those words that you used, most of which I am certain I am forgetting. Can you tell me with any amount of confidence that she will be okay?
It's hard to know. Everyone's journey is their own, and it's different. But in the short amount of time that we were able to spend with her after going to the temple, she seems better. It's a start. And it might take a long time. It might take forever. But she's alive.
She was unfortunately chosen because she was strong. But unfortunately for them, she's strong. So probably has a good chance.
What do you know of this cult that took her?
It's related to Sombrius.
As you say Sombrius, she kind of sneers a bit in disgust. Doesn't stop you, keep going.
So Sombrius, there's they've been infiltrating throughout Kuvalia from what I understand. And using, I think, well, I barely understand it, but I think using like ley lines for some of them to travel.
So they are a magical cult then?
Yeah.
They
Worst
have
kind.
They have taken other daughters and sons? Their children of Kuvalia?
We haven't talked to many. I would assume it's not just your daughter.
In fact, you know it's not, Kay, just pointing that out.
Oh, I just...
From the journals, yeah.
I will definitely. Unfortunately.
What is being done about them? Have the Emperor's people been notified of their existence? Are any of the temples sending anyone to deal with these vile individuals?
I think the Temple of Itharion tries to deal with them when they can, but I just don't think there's a concerted, or at least I'm not sure that I know of that there's a concerted effort. I guess we are trying. But
you surely did not come to Kuvalia to deal with a cult.
They took our friend too.
Wish I knew everything to be able to tell you about it. It feels as though you know more than I possibly could. But if there is anything that this humble Kilnmaster and her little tiny village can do, please know that we will do it. We know we may be simple folk, but we value our own.
In my travels, the simple folk have mostly been the best folk. So I think partially we were hoping to... We came to Kuvalia to kind of explore, look around, see the sights. So if the folks in your tiny small village, I would be happy. I would be okay to sell their wares or show us around,
I can promise you that there are going to be many people in Takanoru willing to sell you any and everything.
Perfect.
Just do me a favor. Don't take anyone's silverware. That's not something. I don't know why that seems to be a thing. Whenever it's just don't buy the silverware. Okay, the people need their silverware, and our blacksmiths hate having to make it when someone invariably tries to. Just please.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. I think also we saw a temple on the way. I don't know if
yes,
we can call someone. We'd love to, I think, go take a look.
Of course, you are more than welcome to visit the shrine at any time. Anyone is welcome there. Do any of you worship Luniesh?
Not me. Start like counting us like.
Well,
I don't think so.
It is irrelevant. All are welcome. I have spent many a night at the mirrored pool seeking answers.
Do you think they could have answers about this? Or are you speaking more metaphorically?
I am not a religious person, so yes, it's more of a metaphorical aspect, but I am told when you gaze into the reflections of the waters, that it can provide you answers to your questions. I can't say that many of mine were ever answered, but I guess that's because I was asking the wrong questions.
You know, now maybe the pool sent us.
I know that's not how that works, but I thank you nonetheless. Where are
I mean,
you from? You are not Kuvalian, even though your appearance is somewhat like. I can tell very much by your accent that you are not Kuvalian. Where do you hail from? Where do all of you hail from? She's looking at Sisk first, but...
I'm from the other side of the Etruscan Sea that Sisk would remember what the name of those places are.
You could probably just say Greater Entrescal if you're trying to be vague.
I'll say Escos.
Escos? Okay.
Yeah.
I have not heard
I'm from Escos.
I have not heard of this Escos. Where is that? Is that far?
Well, pretty far. It's closer to the Greater Etruscan Sea.
Oh, that far.
That's where I'm from. These folks...
I guess if you have an airship, the world must seem small.
Oh, definitely not.
Seems bigger most times.
This is like the second place I've ever been. This is wild.
A vast majority of Kuvalians never leave their towns, much less their country. For the longest time, for thousands of years, no one could leave Kuvalia. No one could come or leave. Everyone born in Kuvalia stayed here. The fact that you are all hailing from faraway places is a marvel to Kuvalians. Certainly to us.
I mean, to us as well. We're from across the oceans, a place that we didn't really know there was more beyond it, or what that more looked like.
And you could tell that there's serious thinking happening in her brain where it finally clicks over in her brain that there are other lands.
I know.
And she just...
I felt the same way. It's overwhelming. I get it. But it's true. And I feel very lucky that we are able to be here with you right now.
Yes, that is... I'm at a loss for words. Even to comprehend such things is astounding. I'd never considered. I saw the seas once, mind you, when I was very little. My family had traveled north to see the skylights at night. And when I saw that vast, tumultuous water, that dangerous, horrifying sight, to see it from above, to traverse it without the dangers, I cannot imagine. And yet somehow you find yourselves in Takanoru, our what must seem like minuscule place in the vastness of these lands.
This is incredible. Everything about this place is beautiful. It's very special. And you should be very, very proud of it.
Thank you. I promise you there are more than enough Taka that are exceedingly proud of their little town. Some of us are more humble in... What'd you say, Ian?
It's such a quiet village. I could see why they're proud.
Yes.
Every day is like the one before.
It's a little town, little tiny people.
Yeah, I got you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
It's not to blow your mind further, but they also came from a place where most magics are like restricted, not allowed, where people are tested on their
we had to hide our magic, those of us who had it, if you weren't learning it in a school. So many people had to hide away, either in plain sight or as far away from the governing bodies, I guess, as they could. That's one of the reasons we left.
She's kind of nodding through all of this as you're saying it, but you can tell she's trying to understand it, but doesn't fully understand it.
Yeah.
Until you mention hiding away. And then there's a moment of clarity for her. And she says, so Uvalia in some ways might feel like home then.
I mean, we learned that it's not so different in some ways. I don't think we're all naive enough to think that everywhere else would be wonderful and, perfect, but...
every place has its flaws for sure. Tell me, in Atarak, are the rumors true that Dragonborn are being taken into the streets and beaten?
It perhaps hasn't gone that far yet, but they are not welcomed with fully open arms.
Do not mean to cast dispersions upon Guvalia and my people, but when you travel, you should be aware that there are places where some are being taken into the streets. You will never find that in a place like Takanoru. We've taken in, actually, a number of refugees, so to speak. Not many. We're pretty far out of the way, and it wouldn't surprise me if most of the people of Cavalia don't even know we exist. But those that do find us, we do welcome them. I guess in a way, given how far from which you came, I can now say that we can take in refugees from very, very far.
You can.
We're not staying. Wait.
No, I don't. I did not mean to imply. I did not mean to imply that. I'm sorry. However long you do stay, please know you're welcome. And if there's anything that I or my people can do, you must just tell us. I will be departing quickly, I assure you, but I will instruct Varen, provided that I can force him to not come with me. I will instruct him to guide you in any and everything that you need.
I know that this is a lot. Too much. But if you need anything else from us, if there's any...
You have given me my daughter back. What could I possibly ask of you?
I have one more thing to ask of you. Please come see us before you leave, if we don't leave before you.
I will do that, yes.
This may be a lot to ask. Is it possible to have one of these wonderful creations that you made?
What creations do you speak of?
He picks up the
that was back out
mending.
there. That's not in her
Oh,
office.
it was back up.
Yeah. But you can say it.
Yeah.
Oh, a Kansugi. Yes, of course.
Question: Is this a craft that's better well suited for smaller things? Like, how do you do it? Is it all just metal? Is it just craft work? Is it magic craft work? Like, how?
There are some that have a magical gift that are able to use that magical gift to assist. But mostly, no, it is skill and labor, and more importantly, time. It takes tremendous amounts of time to repair things. And this work is an exemplification of that. Whenever anyone loses something, they work with an artisan and they mend something that is broken. Have you lost something?
All the time. Lose things often.
Have you lost something important enough that it needs to be mended, but in such a way that you'll never forget it?
Yes, but I don't think anything from your kiln can fix that.
Then let me do this then. And she walks towards you. And it looks like she's walking like right at you. And then she just kind of sidesteps a little bit and like pushes you to the side a little bit. And she goes over to a shelf. And on that shelf, you see a small ceramic horse. And when she pulls it down, you can see that at its midsection, there is a brilliantly beautiful line, imperfect as it might be, of silver and gold. And she turns towards you. And she reaches and holds it out to you. And she says, "This was for Lorraine when I lost her. It took many months to finish. And since your vessel brought you to me to give me the news that she is alive, then I commend that which has been mended to you and to your people on your ship. To always remind them, to remind all of you, that just because something was broken does not mean it can never be mended. And she's still holding it out in front of her towards you, Bren.
I can't accept that. If it's for your daughter, then give it to her.
There's an intensity in her eyes. They almost alight with a small flicker of flame. And she says, but you must accept this. Because you have given me something thought impossible. You have given me my daughter back. You have given me that which was broken, whole. My daughter and I will forge something new together to honor what happened between us, to honor what happened to her, to honor my mourning. This is not that token, and it can never be. Please, accept this with all of the love that I can possibly show.
Of course. Thank you.
As you take it from her, it's got some weight to it. It's not very large. It's only like 5 or 6 inches end to end and maybe only about 4 tall. But it's got some weight to it. And you can tell it was crafted with a significant amount of skill. Not just the mending of it, but the actual crafting of it. This was no simple child's toy, so to speak.
All right.
I have a lot to prepare before I can depart. I will try to come and see you before I leave, yes.
Thank you. Yep. Perfect. We should be going as well.
And as you kind of step out, her door doesn't close behind her, and you can hear her sobs coming again, unbidden.
We should leave.
Yeah. Let's come back after they've all talked. And then...
No, all the crying is done.
Is Bren uncomfortable?
A little, yeah. It's a lot of crying. It's not a... I mean, I get it, and it makes sense, but just... Ease up. No, I'm just kidding.
Bren, when you turn into animals, do you have to look like a regular one, or like could you look like that? And I point at the ceramic horse.
Honest, technically, and I read this, I could look like this. Could be fun.
It wouldn't be gold and silver metal, but it could be gold and silver furred.
No, I could look like this. Just wish she had a bear. That would have been fun. This is generous. Have you seen the craftsmanship?
It's beautiful.
To figure out a way. Do we have a curio cabinet? I'm going to build a curio cabinet for the boat.
I just realized something. Ian,
that we have a curio cabinet?
No, Ian, please make a wisdom saving throw for me.
Sure.
Gonna turn into a horse without thinking about it.
Right? Just wisdom. I have advantage on that, and
You do have advantage.
Yep. Man, this is a stacked roll. If I flub this, damn.
Oh,
I did not flub it. 22.
there was a 1 in there.
Yeah.
It was a little dicey for a second, but bump. So a total of
yeah. 22.
22. Okay.
Yeah.
You keep your wits about yourself with this. But it is worth remembering that Bren has a gift. A special kind of gift as it relates to items.
Oh, yeah.
The psychometry. And there is a intense emotional aspect to this item that he's holding in his hand. So I think that there's a moment here as his guard perhaps drops a little bit after having walked out of that tense situation, where his psychometric gift triggers unbidden. And he can almost see Mika crafting the two halves of this piece back together. But more than that, he feels it. He feels the torture of her emotions as she was trying to find closure to losing her daughter. Rivaling the same kind of way that 80 experiences the emotions of another. And I think this is probably the most intense feeling that he has ever had when using this psychometric gift. And this is certainly the first time it's ever happened unbidden. What do you do?
Okay. Oh, I find somewhere to sit.
You guys all see
go,
you all see him kind of suffering the ill effect of that for a moment. And I think 80 can even feel it too, through her emotional sense, feeling Bren feeling it, not necessarily feeling the source of it.
This is what you go through every time?
More or less.
Where's the bag of holding?
Are you okay?
Wrap it in cloth and paper. I don't want to damage it. No, I'm not okay. That was intense. It's like a very large head rush that moves to your chest, and now it's in my knees.
Yeah. Just breathe. Focus on yourself, on what you're actually feeling physically. Bren.
Pain.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Focus
pain.
on you. Breathe through it. It'll get easier.
I don't like how this is going.
I don't like it most of the time either, but you learn. It's okay.
Okay, all right. Whew. It's a very good gift. There's a lot in that teeny tiny horse. I hope that doesn't happen again. He kind of like stands up and he's like, all right, here we go. Now what?
I mean, temple time? Do you want someone to show us around, or do you want to just go? Looks cool.
I do want to go. Damn it. It's a good one, Beth. Actually do want to go to that temple. I assume it's a temple that we saw on the way in. It's probably the what Miko was talking about, where they went to go think about their daughter. I could go by myself if y'all got something better to do.
I'll go.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
You're all headed off for the temple dedicated to Luniesh.
Yes.
Okay. As you exit the hall and you start heading up in that direction, you have to head like slightly up a hill. If you remember correctly, actually, you know what? I can just put up the picture of this place as well. And I'll give you guys a feel for it once again. If you remember correctly, everything here is kind of steplands. So it's, slightly hilly and then plateaus and then more hill and plateaus and whatnot. And it's pretty spread out in a lot of ways. And so as you head up the hill after leaving the guild hall, you can kind of look back towards the center of town. And you see that a good number of people have dispersed, but there's still a crowd there. And you see your companions kind of present in the crowd, but they're not being crowded, if you catch my meaning. It's more like everyone is just present, and it almost feels like that everybody's kind of waiting in a way. But yeah, you head up the path. As you head up the path towards the Shrine of Shared Silver, as it is known, you can kind of feel a change in the air, so to speak, as you get there. There's a solemnity about this place. Mira is familiar with this. She's been to quite a few holy sites before. But even with that experience, she can't help but feel awed by it. As you move around the waters, the mirror pool, as Meika had described it to you, you can see it reflecting everything almost perfectly. It's perfect, pristine, mirror-like surface. As one of you, or maybe all of you at some point, gets close enough to the edge of the water to kind of look down and see your own reflection in it, you can't help but gasp a little bit, because the reflection is not necessarily what you've seen in other mirrors. It's more a reflection of what you want yourself to be. And only you can see your own reflection in that way. And I'm curious, what is the reflection that stares back at you if you feel like your character got close enough to look down?
I'm sorry, can you repeat? So you see...
You see you see your own reflection, but it's almost like a version of yourself that you want to be.
Got it. Okay.
As opposed to who you actually are. While you're mulling that over, I'm going to take this opportunity to thank another beautiful person who is a reflection of what we all should be, and that's Varl B. Gem. I saw your gift subs earlier. Thank you, Varl. This was the first opportunity that I really had to call them out, so thank you. Who amongst all of you saw your reflection?
Mira thought that it was Kalea at first. She sort of glanced in, and she's wearing these sort of like silvery blues, and the just sort of brief glance she first had, she thought it was Kalea, and then she realizes that it's her, but she sees herself as sort of more commanding in certain ways. I think she's constantly like second guessing her own self inside, and so the image that she sees of herself is very self-assured and almost regal in ways that she gets a little like flash of imposter syndrome at first seeing it, because she's like, that could never be me. But she recognizes the way that her mother was powerful and strong and complicated, and she sees that in herself as well.
I'm going to touch on that in a moment, but before I do, I want to give everyone else an opportunity as well. Who else saw their reflection in the waters? Now I feel like you're scared too. Go ahead.
I think here we go. I think Bryn does, but now Miko, you said you see a reflection of yourself or a version that you like wish to be, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Here we go. Bryn like leans over into the water and he jumps back like super quick. But then he like leans back over again, and when he looks down at the water, it's a brown bear that is just kind of like staring at him, and he's looking at it, and he looks at his hand and he's like, okay, no. But he's looking at it and he sees a brown bear, but then also you see like little tiny bear ears that are like next to him, and then another set, and then another set. And then he tilts his head and the bear tilts his head. And then one of the ears, there's a small paw that comes up and starts like doing this. And then he stands up and he looks around and he's like, okay. All right. That's, yeah. Just gotta sit with that.
Did 80 look in the water? You do not have
She
to if you
did.
don't feel comfortable answering these questions, guys. I want to make sure you understand that.
Yeah. She definitely did. I feel like she's, looking closely at everything she can, and so it would be inevitable that she would see her reflection. And at first, she kind of looks the same. And so she doesn't really think much of it, but slowly she recognizes pieces that are different. Her eyes are a little bit sharper and brighter. She seems to be glowing a bit in a way that, she wouldn't be quite as bright in the moonlight, as she appears to be in this reflection, which is just a little bit odd. You can see sort of just up on the side of her neck, just a hint of ink, like it's a tattoo, but she doesn't really know. She kind of like reaches up to touch it, but there's nothing there that she could feel. And you can see, just as she's about to look away, she sees a hand on her shoulder. And there's nothing, she can't see anything connected to it. It doesn't, there's not like a person standing behind her that she can see, but there is a hand on her shoulder, and it's almost like she can feel it on her own shoulder, and it's warm and reassuring. But as quickly as she notices that, she blinks and it's gone.
I have follow-up questions, especially for you, Beth.
Chat has follow-up questions.
Yeah.
As well.
What color was the hand? Were you wearing the orange top?
How big is the tattoo?
Yeah,
I was very fashionable. I was very fashionable. That's all you need to know.
I thank everyone for going first. I had time to think about what I was gonna say because I have no idea. I think Sisk does look at their reflection. They are in the serval form, but their Sisk face shows up, and they go, "This shit's broken." And that's it. It's like, oh, it shows like true sight. Oh, cool. This is.
She's like, what are you guys looking at? What are you doing?
What do you see?
Amazing. That's absolutely fucking amazing.
Shit's broken.
Shit's broken. Hey, thank you so much, Rolling Nomads, for coming in with the raid. Appreciate you all being here. Welcome in, Raiders. You're just in time for a hot little moment, emotional maybe moment here for Deb. So, Deb, as Mira was seeing that reflection, and you said that at first you mistook for Kalea, and then saw yourself, and the slightly more Kalea-like version of yourself, and the demeanor, and all of that. You clearly saw yourself, just for a moment, as you're like pulling away from it in the quickest flash of a moment. You do see Kalea. You see a ghostly woman in the reflection. Ethereal. Her beautiful silver hair now stark white and floating as if she were in the water. This only lasts for the briefest of moments, but you swear you see pride in the glowing blue eyes of your ghostly mother before she disappears.
Mira reaches out involuntarily toward the water.
As your hand comes into contact with the water and causes the ripple, everyone's reflections become normal. And you see yourself in that reflection rippling, as you are right now.
She takes her hand back and just... I think the emotion that she had been pushing down all day after the experience with Mika really comes right back to the surface, and she sort of slowly sinks to her knees, lost in thought, and she's got tears in her eyes.
As you feel that, your companions all can see you, having this very emotional reaction to whatever it is that you saw. I think all of you are intelligent enough to surmise that you saw something unique to yourself, even if you don't necessarily understand what it was that you saw. And you all see Mira's response to whatever it is that she saw. Do any of you wish to say anything? Or do anything?
Adi would step over to her carefully, but not tentatively. She would kneel beside her and just sort of pull her into a hug and just wait to see if she leans into it, if she needs space. But I think she knows what this is about. And they haven't talked enough about it. And so she just wants to be there in case this is something that pushes Mira to want to talk more.
I think as soon as Mira feels 80, she pushes it down again and she sort of wipes the tears. It's fine. I'm fine.
No, don't do that. It's not fine. We're not fine.
I can't fall apart.
You could.
You could. Do it.
I think
Sis, stop.
Mira laughs a little bit. I'd never be able to put myself back together.
You wouldn't have to do it yourself.
I know.
Maybe we can schedule something, that might work better for you. Put it in the books.
In between uprisings and...
Carve out some time.
Perfect.
We'll need to feel it sometime,
Yeah.
And it hurts like a motherfucker holding it back. Doesn't have to be now, but
Yeah.
As you're all kind of sitting there having this moment, who has the higher passive perception between Bryn and Sisk?
I have 16.
I have 16. So
Got both of you then. So both of you spot a woman kind of appear from not like right next to you or anything, but from around the other side of the temple and start walking towards you. She's an Earth Genasi woman. She's very obviously elder. She doesn't move with frailty per se, but you can recognize age and wisdom when you see it. She's walking towards you. She has a small walking stick, more like a cane almost, in one hand, and she's not really leaning on it per se as much as just using it for a tiny bit of stability. The Earth Genasi nature of her skin, it's almost hard to tell for certain whether there's this like section of her face that has scars or if it's just age. None of you particularly know. But she starts walking towards you.
Can I attempt to make a sharper perception check?
Sure.
Yes. Okay, cool. Solid. Sorry, I have to use TD Dice on my phone.
So I have a question for you. You're doing perception or insight?
You know what? Insight. That's, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to do insight.
The 7 on the dice. You do have a decent number of advantages.
Did it roll?
Yeah, it rolled a 7.
I'm going to use an advantage.
Okay. Still a 7 is your best die.
Okay. We'll sit with that.
7 plus.
7 plus 3, so 10.
Okay. As she approaches you, whatever it is that you were trying to ascertain specifically is going to elude you. But it is worth mentioning that she does not appear in any way, shape, or form to be aggressive at all. And there's a certain kind of grandmotherly quality as she approaches. Sorry, this thing is like pawing.
And she has a cat.
she does not have a cat.
Pulls it out of nowhere.
You know what? Actually, yes, she does. You all will spot moving around the temple periodically, kind of randomly, an array of kittens and cats. Maybe not quite a full clouder per se, but it's a decent number. And so there's one like moving around her robes and feet, trying to maybe paw at the robes a little bit before she kind of gently shoos it away as she approaches you. You can tell very clearly just in looking at her that she's used to guests, we'll call it, visitors to the temple. And so as she approaches all of you, she actually looks more focused at Mira and 80 because they were showing some certainly emotional states just now. And she says to the both of you, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
Perhaps I should have phrased it, "Are you all right for the moment?"
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Very well. Welcome to our temple. What is it that I can do for all of you strangers to these places?
We're in a bit of a pickle. Need some answers. Heard that sometimes looking into the waters can do that for you here. It's also beautiful. We saw it coming up to chat with the Kiln Master. So,
Of course. Mega has spent many, many nights looking into the mirrored waters. Alas, I do not think that she ever found answers that she was looking for. Perhaps you will have more luck. Is there specific guidance that this priestess may offer you? You may call me Renhira.
Thank you, Priestess Renhira. I feel like I must have said that.
It is all right, young one.
Yeah. I'll take it. Can you make me feel the way you see me? Sorry. Bad joke. I'm nervous.
What do you mean, feel the way I see you? I see you as you are. Man struggling with leadership. Man seeking guidance in places for things that he has never done and never thought he would do in his life? Is that what you seek? The guidance of Mifron?
I would assume so. Yeah, if it's that obvious.
Not obvious to most, I am sure. But plain as your eyes can deliver to me.
Okay, so what would be your advice?
Trust
what would be your
yourself.
guidance?
Trust that the decisions you make are meant to work out however they do. And always remember that just because one is tested does not mean that they must pass every test before them.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question now, Ian?
Yeah.
At the mention of testing, Bren would feel a kind of weight on his hip. Instinctively, his hand goes to his hip where he used to keep hidden in a pocket the token. He doesn't feel it there physically. He feels all of a sudden the weight of it. He knows he threw it over the ledge.
Yeah.
Now, months ago. Before leaving the Imperium. But all of a sudden, just with that little tiny turn of phrase, he feels the weight that he carried on that hip for so long.
He just kind of holds his hand there and he goes, thank you. I'm going to self-reflect now. Thank you.
Just kind of gestures with her cane towards the waters, and she points towards a specific stone, and she says, "It has been waiting for you."
Okay, I go to the waiting stone. That's been waiting for me.
As Bren goes over to that stone, you can all see... Well, you describe, Ian. What do they all see as you tentatively approach this stone?
Well, so after the priestess goes, "It's been waiting for you," Bren's like, okay. And then that same look as he turns and he goes to the stone, and he approaches it as if he's going to introduce himself. Like, "Hello, stone." But then he's like, "The fuck am I doing?" Okay. And just kind of slowly and respectfully sits on the stone, because for some reason he feels like this thing's gonna come alive. And he sits on the stone and he crosses his arms in this defiant way, and then it just slowly kind of relaxes, and he kind of puts his hands on his knees and he's like, okay.
As Bren puts his hands on his knees and starts staring into the still waters that have calmed since Mira had touched them, she turns and looks back to Sisk now. And she says to Sisk, "And what of you, Grey One?"
Jeez. Do I just have one thing that I can want to know?
Whether you receive the answers that you want or not, I cannot say, but you may ask all that you wish.
Oh boy. Well, I want to know kind of if there's other people like me. I want to know about our friend who was taken, if we can find her. I want to know, are we going to be okay after everything?
As you say that, she starts walking towards you, and in one fluid kind of motion, she takes her cane and places it against her wrist, and you can see that it actually grows a hook to drape over her wrist, to rest upon it. And she extends both of her hands out in front of her in a cupped fashion, reaching towards you as if beckoning for your hands.
With her now hook hand? Or no, it's a
No,
hook
the cane became a hook to rest gently upon her wrist while she used both of her hands to reach out for Sis.
I'm so sorry.
I love that. With her hook hand?
I will reach out with my
Did you
hands.
reach out with a hook hand?
If I could, I would.
Do we all have hook hands now? Because everyone's like, ah! Ah!
Because Sisk could make a hook hand. Just saying.
It's what I thought we were doing. Yeah. I'll reach out with my hands to touch her regular hands.
Not her hook hand. Just okay. Good to know. Good to know. As Sis places their hands into her hands, she looks at Sisk very clearly, as much eye contact as possible, and says, I see you. Understand that. She gently squeezes Sisk's hands and says, you have much burden and many questions that do not have clear answers. And for that, I am sorry. And though it may not have been the sentiment with which you asked the question, there is no one like you, my friend. There may be many of your kind. You will always be you and unique in this world.
I think just stands there for a little bit with their hands in her hands, just thinking.
He will guide Sisk over to the waters. And there isn't a stone or anything for Sisk to sit upon. And she will reach down, start to remove Sisk's boots. If Sisk would allow it. And she tugs Sisk at the elbow and pulls them down towards the edge of the waters. And slowly and gently places Sisk's feet into the water. And just places a hand upon Sisk's shoulder gives it a tight squeeze. Perhaps a little bit tighter than Sisk was expecting. Or standing up and turning away from them. Rhaenyra turns towards the twins and takes the cane off of her wrist and places it, now straightened once again, in front of her, kind of leaning on it a little bit. She looks at the two of you expectantly.
Hi.
Hello.
I don't really know what we're supposed to do here. I'm 80.
Hello, AD. It's a pleasure to meet you.
You as well.
You've traveled very far, I can tell.
Yeah.
What is it that you would ask of me? Or this place? You come seeking the place and not the person.
I mean, I hadn't really thought about it that much.
Have you not? Have you not always sought answers?
Well, I mean, yeah. I have... I want to know why I am the way I am.
You all wish to know that, and so. But I understand what you mean. And were it so easy as for me to speak a word and give to you, I would. But it is not that easy. Sometimes we can never know that answer. But we should never stop seeking it. No matter how much power we wield, we must never stop seeking the answer.
Yeah. I don't even know where to begin looking for the answer, though.
Takes a step towards you. She's not within arm's reach, so she uses her cane. And she points to your chest. You will find it when you finally are able to feel your own emotions more than you feel everyone else's.
Okay. Thank you.
Of course. You may seek the waters if you wish it, but do not think that that is where you will find the answers to what you seek. Instead, perhaps you should look to the sky. And as your gaze drifts up, despite it being daylight, despite the sun's sitting high on the horizon, you look up and you see an immense sea of stars. Their light twinkling against that blanket of darkness is enthralling. And for what it's worth, you're the only one that can see that. As Adie is looking up at the sky, she kind of tilts her head in the direction of Mira and gets a perplexed look upon her face. What is it that I can answer of the both of you?
I don't know that you have answers for
I think
the
I have
questions.
very well proven through the rest of these conversations that I do not.
Our home was not safe for us to stay in,
Yes.
and we came here to this land, which is not safe for others.
May not be safe for you either.
Will you say a prayer for all of those who are looking for a safe space like this?
Every night. Sometimes my prayers are even answered. They were last night, for certain. Now that I am seeing all of you here today. She kind of gestures with one hand towards the water. You can spend as much time as you like looking in. But remember, the reflection and what we see in that reflection is more important than how it makes us feel. Too many find confusion or longing, loss, and they fail to see what is looking back at them. She kind of takes a couple steps forward and puts a gentle hand on the side of Mira's upper arm, on her injured arm. She says, "Just see with your eyes. Let whatever looks back at you see you." Okay?
I will try.
Just nods and kind of taps her cane upon the ground a couple of times and has a bit of a bemused smile as she turns and looks back at all of your friends. She starts walking back towards the main portion of the temple. Regardless of whatever any of you see, whether you're looking into the waters, the sky, or inward, time seems to slow for all of you. But then, inexplicably, sun's set. You've been here for hours. The vast majority of the day, in fact. You all more or less simultaneously kind of stop and look at each other. You don't see any signs of Rhaenyra. You don't see anyone else present. But you do hear music a jaunty little tune of strings and maybe drums coming from somewhere in towards the center of town. What do you all do?
We could. I feel like we could use some fun. Come on.
80 takes a step like towards you as if to like. She's like, yeah, that sounds good. And as she's sort of like, she's still looking up at the sky, she takes a step forward and she kind of like trips and biffs it a little bit, and bumps into you, and then just looks. Yeah,
it's all good.
Let's go do something.
Should we pull off Circus Bear again?
Oh God, do we have to?
No, that was a question. Like, do you guys want to pull off Circus Bear again?
Don't let her slow you down.
Are you serious?
Could be fun.
I do like Circus Bear. I am tired. It's been a more emotionally hard day, but let's go a quarter of the way Circus Bear. We won't go full Circus Bear, and we'll see how we feel.
Full Circus Bear. You can't go a quarter Circus Bear. You have to go full Circus Bear. We'll save it for another time. That's fine. You guys are lame.
I mean, you could have just done no fireworks, maybe, but, you know.
It's not Circus Bear. Everyone has a part. It makes it great.
So, no Circus Bear then. You all start walking back out of the temple space and into the town proper. As you step into the town, you can tell that there's a bit of seemingly spontaneous festivity taking place. You see people bringing out like tables and chairs, like hoisting very, very large dining tables, bringing them out into the streets, particularly into like the central square, where the town seems to gather, certainly where the town was gathered with your friends from before. Probably most everyone from the town, even. People are setting up torches and staking them into the ground, or hanging lanterns on various posts or onto the edges and awnings of buildings and the like. And there's a good bit of camaraderie, so to speak, happening. Every now and then you will spot someone yelling at another to bring the bread. I don't care if it's just out of the oven. Wear mitts, for God's sakes. And you can smell very clearly the aromas of fresh baked food and the wonderful array of savory home cooking that is about to greet you. You head in and you see your companions even. You don't see Dove, but you do see Phelan. So you can only surmise that Dove decided to retreat and swap out. You can tell very clearly as the suns are setting, and the spring light is fading into night, that these people don't intend to go to bed anytime soon. Casks are being wheeled out, mugs are being brought, and some kind of spontaneous party is about to happen. What do you do?
I have something. I don't know if this changes anything.
Sure.
I think while looking at the pool, Sisk D. Servold without realizing it. And I think they walked into town as a blue person.
As Sisk?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if that changes anything. But...
You get looks. For sure. Is Sisk wearing the clothing that Serval had been wearing?
I think... Oh, I don't know. That's a good
You're
one.
with your companion, so it's very unlikely that they're going to think anything other than you are just one of the companions, but, they're not going to recognize you as Serval unless you're also wearing Serval's clothing.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think I would be.
Okay, that was why I was asking. You definitely get more than a few strange looks. Ironically, there's quite a number of children that kind of look in your direction and want to run up to you before their parents stop and say, no, that's rude, sort of deal. And maybe one or two Sisk might pick up on a little bit of, fear response in seeing them. But certainly not anything as bad as they have encountered in their past, for sure, and nothing that would cause Sisk to be on the defensive, at least as far as I can tell. You, of course, can react however you wish, but there's nothing overtly offensive about what anyone says or does in response to seeing Sisk.
I think unless someone says something, I think they forgot that they
don't even recognize that they changed?
Yeah.
Okay. Do any of you say anything to Sisk? Do you have the headspace to say anything to Sisk?
I feel like 80 wouldn't recognize it immediately. I think partly because she's seen Sisk in many forms, but also I think a lot of her recognition of people is tied to their emotions too, once she knows them. Sure. And that hasn't changed. So I don't think she's looking for any difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And she's kind of looking
I think also at this point,
too.
80 has spent more time with Sisk in Sisk form on the ship than not in Sisk form. So yeah, I think it would seem fairly natural. Also, thank you, Tabletop Misfits, for the raid. Welcome in, guys. We're about to have a little bit of a party here. What about the rest of you? Is there anything in particular that you would do as you are headed into town, or anything that you want to ask, or I don't know, what are you guys doing?
I think Mira wants to brush off some of the emotion of the day, and so she's gonna pick a couple handfuls of stray wildflowers and make little flower crowns for her and 80 and
that is absolutely not where I thought you were going with that, and that's great. I assumed you were immediately going to be grabbing mugs of ale.
Well, that is to come. She just wants to, look a little festive first.
Gotcha. Yes. Makes sense. What about you, Ian? What do you got? Anything to say or add to all of this?
Does Bren get a flower crown?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we all got. Hell yeah, Bear Bren in a flower crown. Come on, let's go party.
This is our party bear. He can now talk for himself. We don't have to talk for you.
Hello.
Order us around, party bear.
Cool.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. Hell yeah.
It does. You do create a little bit of chaos for sure. But we'll get to that. What about 80? Anything to add here? You don't have to add anything. I'm going to ask something important from you in a moment to add. So this can be nothing if you want it to be.
Just vibes.
Okay, just vibes. So this party, there are a few things that I've already kind of scripted out here going to happen. But I've also put in a lot of opportunity here for you all to contribute and tell me about what happens at this party tonight too. So I'm going to go first, and then you guys can just add in and build off of the things that I throw in here, if that's okay. Takanoru is actually quite a lively little town. It might seem sleepy, but these are folk that know how to have a shindig. More than a few of them are really actually quite good at singing and, playing musical instruments. The ale is probably some of the finest ale you've ever had. Certainly a drinking contest takes place. There's a spontaneous dancing event that takes place. And within that dancing event, Oriana approaches Bren and pulls Bren into a dance. And Phelan also approaches Mira, but doesn't pull her in as much as ask. With that, you end up losing sight of Nora and Taryn at some point. You might spot her carrying Taryn back to the ship, basically on her shoulder with him passed out from whatever pie or sweet treats that he gorged himself on. He's still pretty young, but after a couple of hours, you spot them perhaps heading off. You do see Mika here as well. She hasn't left yet. At some point of conversation, whether with her or with someone else, you would find that she's leaving in the morning. That the town council had talked her out of leaving immediately because it would have taken too long. She would have lost a half day's travel anyway, and they are readying a couple of horses for her to take so that she can, swap off between them and get as much time in the saddle as possible on her journey. Not insignificant, lengthy journey to reach Atarak.
I want to get her a letter at some point.
Give to
a letter to give to Terathos
sure.
Or something, just saying hey, this is Lorraine's mom.
Yeah, and you can also kind of give her, as part of that, the lay of the land, so to speak, on who to seek out and names and all of that. So, which is great, and she absolutely thanks you tremendously. She never stops thanking you, in fact, and you can react to that however you will. Varen is not going with. Varen tries to be a chaperone for all of you at a couple of points throughout the evening, always kind of lingering nearby until eventually enough mugs of ale are thrown into his hand that, he kind of forgets his duties, so to speak, and perhaps gets a little inebriated and pulled into a dance with some young man and, ends up having whatever evening that transpires from there. It's also worth mentioning, you see a handful of Dragonborn. You hadn't spotted them well before. And certainly the one that had come out and created the display during the events earlier in the day, you got a decent look at. But no one seems to be batting an eye here. They're welcomed. Some of them have been residents of the town for at least some amount of time as well. A couple of them perhaps are a little bit new. But it's definitely a departure from what you had seen in the rest of Cavalia, as limited as that might be. Everyone really feels like they're celebrating. There's more than a few mentions of Mika and Lorraine. It really does feel like this is the town's way of addressing their mourning and the welcome that is the news that Lorraine is alive. Granted, most of them don't know the current state that Lorraine is dealing with for sure, but it seems important to them. So if you don't mind, actually, in these last bits of time that we have before we sign off tonight, please tell me what happens in the festivities in Takanoru for each of you.
I think that initially, I think 80 is gonna watch Mira a little bit to see if she's still sort of sitting in the sads, to help, determine how she's going to spend the rest of the night. But I think she would lean into the celebration. I think that's one of the things that she really was eager about when they left home, was to just sort of, it sounds so, immerse herself in the culture, but like just get to know people, I think, is the big thing for her. And what better way than when everyone's, eating and drinking and having a good time. So I think that she would pull Sisk into a dance as everyone else was dancing, and I think that they would have a good fucking time dancing together. Thank you for confirming, Kay. And I think then she can drink now because she doesn't have to worry about hiding her magic. But I also think that she's got a bit of a lower tolerance than perhaps her tank of a sister.
That's
so
1,000% true.
Yeah, and she knows it. So like she's not going crazy, but I think like she reaches a point before she would expect to. So she doesn't get sloppy, but she gets definitely drunk. And I think just chats everybody up. I think at some point she would just sort of like be like leaning on the bar and being like, so like, what's the deal with the sky? Like I've heard, I don't know. I was told to like look at the sky more. Is it different here? I don't really. And just like, wait, I'm sure she doesn't get actual responses from anybody, but I think that that's like playing in the back of her mind. But I think she would just lean in a little bit because she knows that they have big things to step into very soon, and she now has some more self-discovery after that conversation with the priestess. So, yeah, it's just good vibes tonight. And she would definitely make out with at least one, if not three people.
Okay.
What?
At the same time?
That's what we would do. Probably not, but,
Sure. Who's next?
80 doesn't get sloppy, but Mira does. Parties have always been her like way of letting loose. Yeah. And so I think she, challenges the biggest, burliest man she can find to a drinking contest.
Of course.
And
every time.
So
she's
Brent,
like,
you mean?
Yes.
Oh no, there's definitely a few farm folk here in this town that are a good hand height taller than Bren.
Perfect.
I've got 5 gold on the tiny one.
I think, there also probably are a couple of like local dances that are a little more complex that she like drunkenly tries to learn, and is just like having fun getting to know. I don't think she probably spends as much time with individual people as 80 does. I think she's more about like the vibes of the town and really drawing in like the energy of the people as a collective rather than any individual person.
Okay.
I think Sisk eats.
But before,
a
hang on,
lot.
before
sorry.
you go on, Sisk, I have the question to ask. What about Phelan?
Phelan who?
I think.
What about them?
I think.
Raven
Mira-
wants to know.
Yes. I think Mira goes back to them. You know, I think Mira dances with some of the locals for a while and then goes back to them as she's getting more inebriated as the night goes on, and like knows that she can trust Phelan and they will make sure that she gets safely back to the ship. And so I think she's got enough wits about her that she'll go back and hang out and like start to drink some water and sober up a little bit near Phelan.
Okay.
I eat a lot and I give people a lot of money. I'm going to single-handedly change the economic structure of this town. And
How much silverware do you buy?
Hey, Mika's not there. She doesn't have to make it. Perfect. Someone else can do it for her. Shit. I think I buy silverware from a couple people, and then I challenge myself to sneak it back onto their person so they can take it home.
Nice. Love it. And Bren?
There we are. The music going wild. Everyone's having a good time. Camera quick turns. Bear Bren on the floor, doing a two-step, having a good time. Everyone's just dancing around it. Camera quick changes again. Bear Bren in the middle of a pie eating contest, just going for it. There's pie all over his fur. There's a stack of like 50 plates right next to it. And it's terrible. Camera quick pans again. Bear Bren holding a full cask of ale with all 4 of his haunches, just chugging the hell out of it. Camera quick pans one more time. Bear Bren drunk in said spot with 2 empty casks of ale, taking a nap.
Amazing.
That's it.
Amazing. That's awesome, guys. I love all of that, particularly for all of your characters. It felt right. I will sign off with one, or before we sign off, I will mention one final thing that you all learn. And you can decide for yourselves if this is something that your character learns or not. But at least one of you will learn through whatever discussions that you have regarding the town and the temple, and maybe if you mention some of your experiences in the temple in whatever detail or not, at least one of you will learn that Priestess Rhaenyra passed away last winter. And that's what we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope you had fun with all of this amazing, awesome roleplay.